Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, and everything outside and in between those two parameters. I have returned. You're beautiful, wonderful, king of fools. Full of myself. Anyways, aren't I just darling with my new model? As you can tell by the video title, I am doing Artfight this year. I decided and unfortunately also conferred with my friends on the decision to do Artfight this year, and I was held accountable. As in, I was reminded on June 3rd, hey, are you doing Artfight this year? You said you were going to do Artfight this year. And I said, well, I did say that, didn't I? And for reference, prior to this, did not have a drawing tablet or an iPad, but I got an iPad a couple months ago. So I was like, none of my references are good enough. I have to draw them all. And so, for the past month, not only did I finish drawing this model, rig this model, I also did 30 character references. It sounds like a lot, but they're not my best work. Over the course of 5 days, I spent 20 hours drawing, pretty much any time that I was not working. I was drawing, and I got 13 characters done. Isn't that horrific? I locked in. I locked in, okay, for Art Fight. So I'm gonna rapid fire go through the characters um, that are all in the same universe, and then I'm gonna have a little excerpt explain the universe. But before we get to that, these characters are all in Artfight: Johnny, Adam, Louis, Helena, Layla, Rhiannon, Gabriel, Alejandro, Anthony, Rosalie, Bella, Arthur, Iris. These are all children from a fun little universe of my own creation. They're quite lovely, aren't they? I'm going to insert an excerpt now of me reading through a little short story about the world. If you want more information about each of the characters, you can obviously visit their Artfight pages, which I will be linking my Artfight in the description so you can find it. I will also be linking some of my friends' Artfight because I do believe they also deserve attention and love. Please check them out as well. Continuing on, here's a beautiful excerpt of me talking about them. An odd practice in an odd village would lead to some odd things, wouldn't you say? Certainly the normal ever so rarely gives birth to the strange. No one knows when the practice started, but the grief of a parent is wild and strong. It's said at first the practice was done when no body was found. Others say a plague led to mass graves and individual graves made far past when bones could be distinguished between young and old. Of course, it doesn't matter much if the body was lost or buried or burned. Crude and later craftful effigies were made to be buried in their place. No grave would be left empty. A morbid practice to task any man to sculpt or carve or even sew a life-sized child just for it to be buried in the dirt or entombed in a stone palace. Especially from a mother or father's memory, the figures didn't need to be clear or perfect. Grief has a way of smoothing over the details. At some point, it turned from a practice just for children with unburiable bodies to common practice for all dead children, from a trend to fashion to tradition. A way for mourning parents to form their loss into the physical, another task to focus on for a funeral, to prolong the time of burial. Some graves had two bodies in them, human and its mockery. Others had the idols and urns and in the so-called classic fashion with no human remains at all. Made from what a family could afford, wood, stone, porcelain, metal, even cloth, as the practice aged and time passed, people got more inventive with what was used to make these unrotting reminders of the dead. Those with mausoleums could simply lay the child to rest, and visit no coffin or dirt obscuring it. Sometimes even the shelves where a coffin would lay would be trussed up like a bed with stuffed animals and pillows, a blanket covering its sleeping form. Some buried in the dirt would be exhumed by a parent, thinking they would forget their child's face. The culture of this made the village odd, or maybe it was odd before. Certainly the people couldn't excuse this as common practice outside their cemetery. As odd things happen to odd places and odd people, that doesn't mean they aren't horrified when odd things happen. Like the poses of stone being slightly different as they rest in tombs, the sound of scratching below their feet, small hands of various materials digging themselves out of graves. Unknown whether it was a prayer answered by a god or a curse from a witch or a trick from a devil. The children brought not by the stork, but by the grave. Anyways, those were my children. Those were my babies. That was a little excerpt of their story. If that did entice you or interest you at all, perhaps, maybe you could go Maybe you could go draw them for art fight? Maybe that enticed you? Maybe that interests you? Okay, guys, let me check off beg others to draw my characters. I have no shame. Anyways, I'm also going to go rapid fire through the other characters of mine that are on Artfight. So here we go. Arden Satel, Alouette, Sigilne, Maltia, Curly Cupid, Peony Bell, Briar, Alcom, Relu Shen, Jade, Orino, Kane, Giren, Reverence, Odysseus. And for obviously an even 30, because if you hadn't noticed, that was 29 characters. The 30th is my VTuber. But yeah, here's also my reference for my VTuber. In case, you want to draw this beautiful, lovely model that's brand new and being just used now. Alrighty then, now that you've seen all my babies, I'm gonna get out of your hair. I'm horrifically bad about ending videos, so leave.